What is up? We are back at the cemetery for another sit-down session. A little relaxing, a little communication, and just seeing what we connect with out here. So, today we are sitting with Mary, and I very intentionally chose this spot. I was just kind of looking around, trying to figure out where I want to sit today. And I felt drawn to this area, started walking around, and I found this one that I'm at now. And then there's another one behind this tree, if you're watching visually. I forget that man's name. It sounded like a Russian dude or something like that. I don't even know. Don't ask me. But today we're sitting with Mary, and the theme that I want to talk about today is the idea of being seen, feeling vulnerable, feeling very out in the open and exposed. I'm crunching up a little leaf. It looks like a leaf from a holly bush, a holly tree. Not really sure. Anyways, so Mary's tombstone, I'll describe it to y'all, and I'll also show you if you're watching visually. So here's our general area that we're in today, and here's the headstone in question. It has two girls on it. They're like holding each other, hugging each other. Hang on. And then there's a little sunburst close to their feet, and at the very top it's adorned with, looks like some roses and possibly a bow as well. I really like headstones that have floral elements to them and little bows and things. I feel like it's so beautiful. And then obviously her name Mary is on there. And then at the very bottom there's a quote, which at first it was extremely hard to read because of the wear and tear, if you will, of this headstone. Let me set our camera back up real quick. I feel like I'm in the nude wearing shorts. I don't really enjoy wearing shorts, but it's hot outside. Or like a literal spring day. Anyways, so this quote on her headstone reads, "Her sun went down while it was day, but unto the upright there ariseth light in darkness." I don't know if that flowed. It's kind of hard to read because of the moss and everything in between. Her sun went down while it was day, but unto the upright there ariseth light in darkness. I thought that this was a fitting message as well for what we're going to be talking about today, which is actually something that I journaled one of the last few times I was at the cemetery. I think it was like, I went 3 times recently, like today's my 3rd time, but day 1 was the one whenever I wrote whatever I'm about to read you all. Day 2 was whenever I did that other podcast, and then right now is day 3. But anyways, so this was from that first session within the past few weeks, so I'll just read it to you. Let's see. So this is where our inspiration is coming from. Predator and prey, stillness, untraceable, undetectable, indistinguishable, disguised, hidden in plain sight, seen, observed, watched, surveyed, stalked, under surveillance, hunted, sought after, high value, high reward, most wanted, desired, prized, rare, uncommon, blend in, hide, run, burrow, bury, fade away, disappear. So with this, it's kind of the contrast of being out in the open and then that intense desire to hide whenever you are out in the open. And this particular message, I don't know if you all watched that first cemetery chat thing that I did, but I was sitting with some geese, and I just like went up to this little pond area, sat down, chilled, and then these geese started to come over towards me, and I feel like I was really connecting with their energy, and they were relaxing and laying down, and I felt like they felt safe with me, and it just like felt really comforting. And in that moment, I feel like I was putting myself in their shoes, in their perspective as a goose, and I was just kind of looking around at the environment from their eyes, if that makes sense, because I was like sitting down on the ground right next to them, and I felt like I was with them and I was a part of them. And that's kind of what inspired this little bit that I just read you all, was that idea of being an animal that doesn't really have too much of a defense system built into it in terms of fighting, because obviously there's like fight, flight, fawn, and not all creatures, not all people, not all animals are going to be coming up to the bat with their big old fighting boots on. A lot of us are the other end of it, where we're afraid and we're intimidated, or we just don't really have that combative nature within us. So we are more likely to freeze, we're more likely to fawn, or flight, run away. My nose is runny. I should have taken my allergy pill today, but I did not. But that's okay. So today I just want to talk about maybe my experience or my perspective of feeling seen, feeling vulnerable, feeling very out in the open. Let's just start here. I usually am the type of person that really enjoys a gloomy, rainy, depressing day outside. I feel most alive, I feel most excited, I feel very intimate with my own life whenever it's cloudy out, foggy out, rainy out, anything like that. I just feel the world kind of slows down a little bit, time slows down, and life just feels like we're all here, we're all just getting through this together. You know, rainy day, it's okay if you're late to work a little bit, because hey, we got to be safe on the roads. And there's a little bit more of an inconvenience factor to people whenever it is a rainy day, and people are like, oh, it's such a gloomy day outside, and they like complain about it and everything. But for me, it feels like it's my hidden corner of the world where, oh, they hate this day, but I love this day. I feel so me today. I'm so grateful for today, and I'm carrying the lightness in that quote-unquote dark day for them. So, and ever since I've been young, I've been I would describe myself as a sandpaper type of person. And what I mean by that is always going against the grain, always subconsciously trying to be different, trying to be displaced, trying to be in my own arena. And I feel most confident whenever I'm in a space that's the path less traveled and the more unpopular way of going about something. I prefer to take that path. I feel more comfortable in that area. And that's where I'm saying it's kind of sandpaper. It's abrasive. It's not smooth. It's not going with the grain, it's going against the grain. And another element of this, I would say, is authority issues, like challenging authority, I don't like being told what to do. I never have liked being told what to do. I don't like feeling pressured. I don't like feeling like a decision is like being forced upon me, and I just want to do my own thing. And that's where I feel good. I don't know where that tangent was going in terms of how to stay on topic about predator and prey. But okay, I think I can try to transition it. Let's think. So that side of me wanting to be different, wanting to be more in the shadows, I guess, if you will, that's my way of taking control of my life. And that's my way of, I guess, hiding, protecting myself, feeling secure in my own world, because it's my own world that I'm curating, and it's not for public consumption. It's not for everybody it's not the path most traveled. Side note, that's also why in these cemetery locations that I'm picking, it's intentionally tucked away. It's not really within street view. It's not in a place where it's just bright. I wanted to choose somewhere that had shade. So we have these huge old trees to help shade me to help cover me up, to make me feel safe, to make me feel good, to make me feel a little bit hidden and not so out in plain sight, out in the open. And I think the sunshine, whether those bright days, those sunny days, those warm days that most people classically love and they find that to be the most beautiful day possible, is a sunny, warm day. That's my least favorite kind of day. Not to be a hating ass bitch, but for me, it doesn't suit my soul. And I think part of that is because those days are very illuminating. And I do mean that literally and metaphorically, because it's illuminating as in you are out in the bright open sun. Everything is revealed. Everything is very easily detectable, very easily seen. You are out in the open, essentially. If it's sunny and the sun is shining on you, it's very illuminating and warm and out there. But if you are in the shadow, the physical shadow, it's a little cooler. The temperature's cooler. The energy's significantly different. It doesn't feel warm and radiating from the inside out. It doesn't make you feel like empowered and like puffing your chest out like a lion type of vibe. It's more reserved, calm, pulled back, a little stripped back and removed. And I like that better, at least for right now. Of course, it's nice to experience sensations and have that warmth on your skin. You know, I'm not saying like fuck the sun like eternally, plus we need the sun, hello. But I'm just letting y'all know how I feel in terms of why I guess I don't like the light, why I don't like the illumination. And now let's try to pull it, reel it in a little bit in terms of meaning. I'll also look at my list again. Predator and prey. Stillness, untraceable, undetectable, indistinguishable, disguised. I really also like the idea of caves, tunnels, a catacomb, like just a cavernous space that is dark. It feels like there's mysteries, there's secrets, there's something hidden. It's not illuminated. It's intentionally kept away from the light. And back in the day, like caveman people, why do they call them caveman? Did they live in a cave? I would assume. Because they probably also did not want to be out in the open where everything's revealed, everything's illuminated, everything's seen. People can watch your every move. People can criticize. People can hunt you. People can detect you. I think that's what I don't like about it. It feels like the people that have eyes on you are judging, critiquing, noticing, picking apart, breaking down you and analyzing you. So the more information that you give them, the more fuel essentially you're handing over to them to almost have control of you in a way. Does this make sense? So if everything's revealed, everything's illuminated, everything's out there and on the line for everybody to see, more voices can come up, more opinions can come up, more judgments can come up, more criticisms can come up. And you might begin to question your identity based on these things that are illuminated and that are in the light. And then you can end up fundamentally changing who you are just because you're listening to these external opinions and these external thoughts that live outside of you. And I think that's why it feels more comfortable for me in terms of metaphorically the cave, the darkness, the more removed, covered up, peeled back still. But it just feels safer because less people know, less people can judge, less people can criticize, critique, have an eye, have an opinion if I don't give them anything to have. Like I'm not giving them fuel. I'm not handing over the can of whatever you call it. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Lighter fluid. the word? So it's, I would say, being a person that's more attracted to the shadow and more attracted to the darker side, it's really just a protection mechanism for you to feel safe and to feel good. And it is completely valid that you choose to live your life in that way rather than choosing to live a life that's more illuminated, out in the light, sharing a lot, being very open, very willing to just hand over all parts of yourself to everybody, and to be maybe more likable or well-renowned socially by giving more people access to you and spending more time with other humans and connecting with a greater quantity of people. Maybe you like that, prefer that, but for me, it's just not something that feels good to me at this point in my life, and it doesn't feel natural, and it does make me feel like I am prey, essentially, and that the external are the predators, and they're the ones that can have a direct impact on me. And I don't like handing over that power to people. And then back to the notes again about the parts that I said, like reward, most wanted, desired, prized, rare, uncommon. You almost, well, I'll just speak for myself. I feel like I almost like set myself up by being so removed, mysterious, hidden, whatever, from the light, that there could be an aspect of intrigue or an aspect of curiosity about me. And I wrote this poem. I wonder if is it on here? Yeah, okay, so I'll read it. Perfect. I wrote a couple poems today. This is the second one that I wrote, so I'll actually read it to you all and then we can discuss it. But who you see versus who the world sees are two very different people. Well, maybe not very much. If you're on the outside, you're on the outside, and your view stops there. To get close to me is to be eye to eye, face to face, with a rawness many fear to see. Those who gaze long enough and linger in the depths worry there's no turning back. The beast has been visualized. At this stage, those who fear the beast exit with a comical swiftness that leaves no trace. The few, upon God's will, continue to stare at the beast, out of fascination and intrigue. Car crash victim observation, nothing more. Fair and even understood. I don't blame you. I cannot fault one who is not prepared or equipped to face the beast in this... Okay, hold on. I cannot fault one who is not prepared or equipped to face the beast. In this galactic realm lies the brave one, on the night watch of the unpaved, dim path, the bridge to the uncharted lands. He fears none. His boldness to approach, open the gate, and allow me to run wild without persecution draws my eye. He is strong. He is strong. Now this is my inner world realized in words. I personally feel that being vulnerable with people... Okay, I have two thoughts going on at once. Y'all, I got the ADHD train hardcore. I've never been diagnosed, but I swear it's my journey, I feel. What are the two thoughts that I'm trying to actualize right now for you all to understand? It's so calm outside. Vulnerability. I don't know, I guess we'll just talk about the poem first and then see if I can pick up somewhere else. So I feel if I reveal my innermost self to people, I have two different sides with it. I'll either go full overshare, full exposure, full disclosure, everything's on the line. And I find that that has been a self-destructive thing that I've done, because it's almost like if you lay everything out, then you can walk away and say, well, hey, if they couldn't take all that, if they couldn't handle all that, then they're not the one for me. It sucks to suck. And this is in terms of like friends, work people, partners, anything. Like, you just overshare and it is what it is. If they can't take it, they can't take it, and I'm just going to keep on my merry way. And it almost reinforces that idea of trying to be alone, trying to be removed, trying to be away from everything and like stay in the shadows. But the more you interact with others, it illuminates a little bit more, and it makes you more susceptible and more vulnerable, I feel. But at the same time, being vulnerable is the way that people are able to connect with you and are able to relate to you and feel good around you, and you feel good around them, and foster that sense of community and belonging. There does need to be a layer of vulnerability present and on the table. So if you're not going to give anything, and you're going to withhold literally everything, you're blocking any form and any semblance of connection that could ever even happen to you. So it is self-destructive, honestly, to hide stuff and to keep every part of you to yourself. And that's where I am learning currently, and I'm on a journey of that, and I've been on a journey of that, I would say, within the past 6 months, is like stopping my oversharing, or trying my best to, and really reeling it back and pulling it in and living back in my internal world rather than spewing everything externally. And I have found it to be really rewarding, and I feel like it's been able to help me kind of get my own self back on track and get my own confidence back in myself, because if I'm just giving everybody everything, there's no really respect for myself. There's no honorable person at the center that I can come home to at the end of the day if I'm constantly just doing things for other people, trying to feel connected and good with others, like by sacrificing my values and who I am. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I just feel like I've really regained my footing, I guess you could say. And I would credit that to reeling back on the over vulnerable stuff. And I think I'm starting to step back into that world a little bit through these videos and through these podcast episodes, and I'm trying to mesh the two. I still find it a really difficult balance at times. I do want connection with others around me. I do live my life very, very extremely independently. And I feel like me posting videos or sharing my words or writing a poem and sharing it somewhere or whatever, it's like my way of being vulnerable. And it's I feel safe in that because it's like under my control. I'm releasing this thing, I feel good about it, and I'm just kind of like letting it go to the wind, and I'm not really caring what anyone's going to think about it or worry what people's opinions are, or is this going to be successful, is this going to get views, is my channel going to grow from this? Like, I've stopped all of that, and I really am just sharing whatever I want to share, and it feels authentic to share, and I feel very secure in my authenticity. And I think that that's one of my favorite qualities about myself, is that I just am so extremely true to me in every setting, every situation possible. And it has not always been that way though, but I just wanted to share that I'm proud of that and I feel good about that. So in this poem that I read you all about the beast, it's not like I would say I have like severe like skeletons in the closet or severe like things I'm like hiding in my life. Like, I don't feel that way, and I don't feel that I'm like a traumatized person that is like complete damaged goods and like no one can love me. Like, I don't feel that way. But I would just say the beast, what I'm saying personifies the beast, is the idea of like just extreme rawness and extreme vulnerability, and not everybody really wants to see that in another person. I feel like I'm very truthful and I'm very honest and outward with my opinions and how I feel about certain things, and just the way I live my life I feel like is very vulnerable. And I would say in terms of like friendships, not everyone really wants to mess with that. Not everyone, sometimes people, they're like reserved within their own self so much that they just need to be around others to distract them. There's people coming up, so I'm gonna have to like start whispering. Whisper. I hope they don't come over here. yeah, I think I'm not going to belabor that point, because whatever I was about to get into is definitely a belief that I used to hold and used to kind of like beat a dead horse about like everybody that hangs out with people and is super social, they're just scared of themselves, they're scared to be alone, and like I was very hypercritical of that kind of thing. And you know, honestly, I don't even care anymore. Like, you do you. If that's what you want to do, go ahead. I don't even care what you do, truly. So the beast. Let me read over the end part, actually, because I really connected with that part and really liked that. I cannot fault one who is not prepared or equipped to face the beast. I think the beast is like them facing themselves. I think that's what this is actually about. It's like, I am so fully very, very self-aware and like very honest with myself that if someone else is not able to have that same level of honesty and transparency within their own self, it's hard for me to connect with them. But I'm also learning and trying to be like non-judgmental of that as well, and not let it be like it's a no-go situation with anybody in your life, friends, partners, anything. Like, just kind of meet people where they are, let them be themselves. You know, if you feel that you've advanced past a certain point spiritually and they haven't gotten to that point yet, so be it. It's fine. Like, we're all on our own timeline. Just because I'm at a certain point doesn't mean that someone else is required to be at that same point as me. I think there's a level of connection that you can have if you have been through something similar to somebody, or you've been through a certain phase and you've maybe overcome something and you've healed from something maybe, and someone else has also done that same work or healed or whatever. You can like relate more on that point. But most people, I feel, are just on different time frames and paths with that. And if you want to, you can hold space for people, hold space for that person that is actively going through a hard time and whatever else. And you know, you've been there too. But also at a certain point, there's no hand holding you can do. There's no, like, you don't want to shove someone along on their own journey. You don't want to rush someone on their own journey. You just kind of need to let them be and let them exist, and you continue to do you. And I really think that that's the best way to go about anything in life, I'm realizing. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. My foot and legs are like heavily falling asleep right now, so I'm gonna stretch them out. The very last part, though, I really like this part. In this galactic realm, honestly, I don't really like that word galactic realm, but I was just imagining, like, I don't even know. Anyways, in this galactic realm lies the brave one on night watch of the unpaved, dim path, the bridge to the uncharted lands. He fears none. His boldness to approach, open the gate, and allow me to run wild without persecution draws my eye. He is strong. So I think that's saying, for me, that I admire people, anybody, doesn't matter what type of connection it is. I really admire people who are not afraid of the shadow, of their darkness, and that they spend actual time and effort looking into it or leaning into it or listening to music that makes them feel. Just people that are really in tune with their emotional body. I feel very safe and good around those people versus people who have not done that work or are afraid of doing that work. I just don't really feel like we're on the same frequency, kind of thing. But I just, highlighting this part again, I think that this is a really good place to get in your own life, where you're able to be the night watcher of your own experience, and you're able to hold the fort down, and you're able to take anything that can come your way, and you can get through anything. So if you've been a person that's been through a lot of traumatic shit and a lot of fucked up shit and a lot of sad shit in your life, you are strong. You're a night watcher. You don't fear that dim path. You don't fear that path less traveled. You are confident there. You feel good there. And whether this was by choice or not, most of the time it's not by choice. That all these things in our life happens to us, and that tragedies come our way, and we lose people and people die and everything like that. We don't get to pick that. But you get to pick your strength, and you get to be there for yourself, and you get to be the one that carries your own light through the darkness, and you're not afraid of the darkness. Another note to that as well is just because you're comfortable in the darkness doesn't mean that you're a demonic person or you're a bad person or anything like that. You are simply just walking in a dark cave with a torch, and that torch goes out and you're able to stand firm and be like, I'm okay. I've seen stuff before. I've been here before. I will get through this. There's a way. There's a solution. I'm not going to let this break me and crumble me. Like, that's the level of strength that I feel proud to have. And it's come over years and years of pain and loss and everything, but it's just something I feel good about. So, reading this quote on this headstone again, let's see. Isn't it funny? It's like you can read it, like if you like briefly look at it, but then if you look more deep into it, it's like harder to read. Her son went down. I'm not even going to try to read it again. Y'all can go back to the beginning of the video if you want to listen to it. I'm just kidding. So, last thing I'll talk about in this video, and I'll be more vulnerable with my own self and reveal more things about me, I guess. But another reason I was drawn to this headstone in particular is because, first of all, it says Mary on it. Now, there's a whole story with Mary, and I can get into that at another time. But also, it may just be something I end up keeping myself, and that's completely fair as well. But there's 2 girls on it, and I have found spiritually that, and it's so funny, I feel like I sound crazy saying this stuff, but I feel like my inner child her name is Mary. My inner child's name's Mary. And then the more grown version that Mary evolved into is Marceline. So Mary is the more pure, soft, gentle. She would be the one to fawn in terms of fight, flight, fawn, all that shit. She'd be the fawn. She'd be the sweet, reserved, calm, quiet, tiptoe, sweet, calm girl. That's Mary. And then Marceline needed to come in and develop spiritually in Mary's life to save Mary and help Mary and protect Mary, because as a Mary, you get taken advantage of. People are mean to you. You're an easy target. Whenever you're just a sweet, kind person, I feel like the world just tramples you. And that's like years and years of experience of like feeling that way, like throughout my entire childhood. And I honestly, another aspect too is I changed my last name legally, and I would say my old last name is in alignment with Mary, but then my new last name is more in alignment with my newer self, and Marceline made that happen, if that makes sense. And this is something that sounds insane, but I feel like I've just had this epiphany, a spiritual epiphany recently, that's how that played out. And I feel that was part of me healing my inner child and working towards healing my inner child. I feel like obviously it's active work. It's not something that just like stops one day and like you're never gonna have to face those demons again. Like they will continue to come up throughout different points in your life, but I think Marceline is the one that was more hardcore, protective, darker, able to take shit, able to take pain, able to put up with more, and she's more seasoned and damaged than Mary. Mary became damaged. At a certain point, her softness was completely just rubbed raw and beat, not literally, but like metaphorically, just crumbled and just feeling small. And then Marceline had to come in, and she came from within Mary, and she exploded into Marceline, that is able to carry the team on the back and really get through life, is Marceline. And I'm really grateful that I have that energy within me now, knowing that I've been through so much and I've continued to show up for myself, and I've never once quit on myself. I've dealt with a lot of emotions, and I've dealt with a lot of disappointments and letdowns and pain and whatever. Broken record, no one gives a fuck. But I'm just so proud of that side of myself that is like strong and still kicking it, still fighting, still going at it, and fighting for myself and wanting to have an enjoyable life. that's Marceline. So the fact that there's these two girls on this headstone that says Mary on it, I feel like one is Mary, one's Marceline, and just is really beautiful to me. I think that's gonna be it. I don't know what else to say. I also don't know if I even got into it all that well in terms of like staying on topic and everything, but life's complex. Lots to think about on a daily basis. Lots of thoughts that always swirl around my brain. Another side note, and then maybe we'll sign off, is I want to start doing some poetry related things on here, and I'm not sure if this will come out first or that next, but I'm looking forward to that, just doing short little clips, just a short few minute thing to read it, and then maybe if I want to go into it I can do further episode, like maybe the first part could be the reading and then the second part could be a little bit of an analysis of where I'm coming from with that, or I could just keep it a complete mystery and let everyone figure it out on their own and like let it resonate with you in its own way. Like I'd never want to like force meaning or force an idea on someone. I just feel presenting it itself might be enough, but we'll see how I feel about that, so just keep an eye out for that if you're interested. But it's a beautiful day. Thank you, Mary, for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you allowing me to sit in this beautiful area right here. It's like the perfect spot. I love it so much. There's this beautiful big tree back here. Gorgeous, gorgeous trees. Life is good. Everything's amazing, guys. You can get through anything. If you're still here, still kicking it, you're a badass, and I'm proud of you. So, alright, I love you all, and I'll talk to you all in my next one. Bye, guys. Now we gotta get up to shut it off.